In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I hope that by the grace of Allah Almighty, all the acts of worship and services conducted by you will be accepted. And may our Savior Imam Mahdi, may Allah hasten his reappearance, bless us all. And also Fatima Masuma, peace be upon her, intercede for our needs in this world and the hereafter. In a holy narration we read, you should advise yourself first. You should not wait for others to preach you. And you have to do it yourself first. Allah Almighty has bestowed upon all people, young or old, male or female, educated or uneducated, rich or poor, healthy or sick, in all the conditions and the stages of life, with two things together. These two things are usually contradictory and are fighting each other all the time. One of them is the belief system, and the other is the desires and temptations. Everyone has a system of beliefs for himself, proportionate to his level of his understanding. As does he have some temptations and desires. The belief system is termed by the Holy Quran and narrations as intellect. It has been defined as intellect. And temptations and desires have been defined by the Holy Quran and narrations as passion or lust. It has been termed as lust. Everybody dreams of prosperity. And you cannot find anyone who doesn't like to be prosperous. What is the solution? The solution is to follow your belief system over your desires. Imagine a thief, even a professional one, in the middle of the night, breaks into a house without the owner anywhere close, starts stealing everything quietly. money, gold, or anything valuable. If at this time his stealing stops to contemplate and preach himself for 1 second and ask himself a question. If I were the owner of the house and someone broke into my house, how would it feel, good or bad? What kind of answer could he give himself? He wouldn't say such an act was correct. That's what we call the belief system. And the act itself is preaching and admonishing oneself. When a husband has a quarrel with his wife, or a wife has a quarrel with her husband, a partner gets in a discord with his business partner, two brothers argue over something, a traveler in a bus, airplane, or train ignite a dispute over something. The same happens for two neighbors. In all these conditions, one should refer to his beliefs and ask himself, what would I do if I were in his shoes? How would I like him to treat me? If a man treats his wife badly, the woman should ask herself, what would I do if I were him? Do I have to answer back? Do I have to remain silent? Do I have to swallow my words? Because besides food, you can swallow words as well. This is one's belief system. Or if the opposite happened, and the woman stopped talking to her husband, and the husband should ask himself, what would I do if I were in her shoes? Do I have to sulk as well and leave the town? This is the belief system. And it is true in everything and everywhere. Every day and night, people experience such situations dozens of times. If a gullible customer comes to someone's shop, he can be easily deceived. No one will find out about it, and no harm will be done to others. Even he himself will not find out later. That is a temptation to earn more money by deceiving the customer and double the price of an item. The seller can double the price of an item, but it is the belief system that tells him of the inappropriateness of such action. He does not even need to think about the day of judgment. And he only needs to ask himself, if I were in his shoes and he were the seller, what would it feel right to be fooled by him? What is his belief system? Anyone who decides to follow his own belief system is extremely prosperous. He may earn a little less money, and he also should be tolerant and try to control himself. It is a difficult task. But after a while, he will be more comfortable for the rest of his life. When he sleeps at night, his conscience does not reproach him. Before you die and come back to life on resurrection day, you better try this for a month. Even if you have a high blood pressure, you will suffer less. If you're suffering from diabetes, high blood sugar bothers you less. If you have psychological problems, you'll have fewer nervous breakdowns. However, first it requires your strong decision because it is a fundamental issue and not a trivial one. Therefore, you have to admonish and preach yourself. Be the preacher of yourself in every situation. Think before you leap. Many people die of the diseases they have. Or the diseases develop so fast that they become incurable. And if you try to find the reason, ask your relatives or doctors around you. You will realize if they had advised themselves to do the right thing, they wouldn't end up like that. Imagine someone suffers from diabetes and is also hungry. There is a tray of delicious sweetening in his front. The host insists that he should have some. For a moment, he thinks a moment about his own belief system. Is it really worth eating and suffer the consequences and get sick? His belief is not to eat any of it. If he has already decided to follow his own beliefs, he will not have a difficult time. But his temptation and desire wants to have it all. What will happen? Eating such sweet food equals dying. If he thinks even for a moment, will it be worth eating? One of the preachers had a young son-in-law, but he died of a heart attack. I saw him later and asked him if he had any previous heart problems. He told me that his son-in-law had died of sudden heart attack with no previous record of such illness. I asked the cause of his heart attack, and he said his son-in-law and his brother had an argument over their inheritance and about the value of the money to be shared. He also explained about the cause of their dispute and said, my son-in-law was standing in front of a chair as they were fighting. Suddenly he put his hand on his heart and sat down, and his head fell back. We sent for a doctor. When he examined, he said that he was long gone. Now that he has passed away, those of us who are still alive should think whether he acted according to his own belief system or not, because if he had, he wouldn't have died like that.
ما تصمیم بگیریم به باورمون عمل کنیم. وقت میارزه
What did he need that extra money for? Did he want to use it in this world, or did he want to take it with him? Now he has lost everything. His money is gone. His life is gone. His family, everything is gone.
این تصمیم میخواد آدم به وقت پیچ.
While driving, one cannot decide at a curve. He should have decided before. Preach yourself. It is only one sentence, but it is more valuable than the whole world. We human beings can decide together. Allah has granted us with this power. Even teenagers can make decisions at their own levels. Every human should decide in all ups and downs of life to see what his belief system is and what his desires are. When someone has gone to bed late at night, exhausted, or has been working all day, when he takes a nap for a half an hour or an hour, whether he's young or old, exhausted, he will feel refreshed after a short nap for half an hour. Sometimes he can hear adhan, he wakes up, but he doesn't get up. He's woken up an hour later and he notices the sun hasn't risen up yet, so he doesn't get up. And if he had formally decided to follow the system of belief, he will do what is right after thinking. He can easily distinguish what the desires and temptations are. However, if he has decided to follow his belief system, he tells himself to get up and perform ablution and go prayer and go back to sleep. Is such an act proper or not? This kind of person will be extremely prosperous. Such a person will never get so angry that he is taken to a mental hospital. Or he will not have a heart attack or commit suicide, no matter how huge the problems are. Is it worth or not? Such a person gets ill less and goes to hospital less, because when a person has a belief system, these problems crush him less. Such beliefs lie within his nature, as do the temptations and desires. Why Allah Almighty put these two qualities together? Because He wants to test everyone so that He can see his status. And make everyone know himself better. I hope by the blessing of Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them, Allah bestows more favor upon those who already have it, and grant it to anyone who hasn't had this favor so far anywhere they are. May Allah bless Muhammad and his pure descendants.